Okay, so this is the last section in Chapter 2, you'll be happy to know. You'll also be happy to know that it's something that we've very related to something that we've done before. We're just going to be looking at some more functions and evaluating functions. But what we're going to do this time is we're going to look at some compositions of functions, which means that we're going to do a function of a function. Okay? So the first thing we're going to start with is something that looks like this. Alright? Now, don't worry about that little 0 or O in the middle of the functions. All that means is that you're going to be taking a function of a number and then doing another function of it. So f of g of x is what this is, how this is read. F of g of x. So in other words, we're going to find f of g of x, which simply means first find g of x and whatever value that gives you, some number, right? And of course they'll always tell you what x is going to be. Then second, you'll simply find f of that number, whatever number you get, and that will provide you with your answer. Now the first ones you're going to get are just going to be some functions that are written out in function notation, and then later we're going to look at some where they actually give you the numbers that you're going to use in the form of some charts, some ordered pairs, so they make it even easier for you in a minute. So let's look at some of these and show you how easy it is. Nice way to finish up this chapter. Okay, so here we have our function, and we're told to find f of g of 3. So the first thing we need to do is find g of 3. So make sure you're using the right function. This is your g of x function. This is your f of x function, so make sure you're using the correct one. So everywhere there's an x, you're simply going to replace it with 3 in the first one. So that's 3 raised to the second power plus 3. 3 to the second power, of course, is 9 plus 3. So 9 plus 3 gives you 12. So g of 3 is 12. So that's the new number that you're going to be putting into f of x to find the new function value. So we're f of x, so we're finding f of 12, and that's just 4 times 12 minus 1. Hopefully you can read that. 4 times 12, 48, minus 1 gives us 47. So there is our completed answer. So you're just using two functions, and you're going to do it twice. Once with the original x, and then the second time with the new function. So let's put that in. Check our answer. So we got 47. And there you go. All right? So that is as easy as it can get. Let's look at the other type. So the functions can change, but the operations will never change. So let's look at the other type where they're going to give you the functions, and then they're going to give you the answers already in ordered pair form, and so you just have to select the correct number. So let's look at the second type of problem that they give you in this particular section. What we're going to do is we're just going to be simply reading our answers, our numbers, from the tables that they give you. They give you the x, then they give you g of x, they give you the x, then they give you f of x. So literally you're just going to read the answers from these tables. So if you're looking at it, it says g of f of 3. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you get them in the right order. This is g of f of 3, right? So that means we have to do the f part first. So make sure you're getting in the right order. So we're finding f of 3. Well, here's the chart for f of, here's where x is 3. So f of 3, f of 3, simply reading from the chart, is 6. Now what we want to do is find g of that 6. Again, simply reading from the chart, here's our g of x. When g of x is 6, the completed answer is 7. So let's plug that in. Let's see if I did it right. There you go. Couldn't be any easier than that. Now the last ones that we're going to look at, so there are going to be a couple of those where you're just reading the numbers. Make sure you get the order right? And if it says f of f, that means you're going to use the f function twice. Look at the last ones. The last ones, they're simply going to ask you if two things are equivalent. So you're going to find the g of x and then f of x, and the other one you're just going to reverse it. So just watch the order, but you're still just going to be evaluating the function for a specific number. Okay? And you can choose any number. So pick something easy like 0 or 1, so that you know that you can be able to do these easily. So let's look at one of these real quick so you can see. Well, all right, they're not going to let me cheat and just show you how to evaluate the functions so that you can see if they're equivalent, because instead they're going to want the actual function. So let me walk you through it. All you're going to be doing is finding, notice that they've given you the two functions, right? But they haven't given you any number to plug in. So instead of plugging in a number, what we're going to do is plug one function into the other function. So notice they want f of g of x. So that means we want f of the entire g of x function, which is 3x minus 5. So we're just going to plug that into our f of x function. So 5 times, and in place of the x, we'll put 3x minus 5 minus 3. And then it's simply a matter of distributing the 5. It gives us 15x minus 25 minus 3. Then combining these two like terms here, which gives us 15x minus 28. So that gives us our f of g of x. Okay, so we're not able to get a specific number because we still have that x in there, so we don't know what that x is, so we can't find it. Now, then what we'll do after we find that one, then we'll reverse it and see if we get the same exact answer. So keep that answer in mind. Okay, as we clear this and go to the next function. So it's 15x minus 28. Now let's do the other part of it. So we're going to find g of f of x. So plugging in, so g of 5x minus 3. So everywhere there's an x, we're going to replace it with that. Again, remember which function we're in. So 3 times 5x minus 3 minus 5. Distributing gives us 15x minus 9 minus 5. Combining our like terms gives us 15x minus 14. So the 15x was the same as the last function that we got. Remember a while ago we got 15x minus 28 or 25, I can't remember, but it doesn't really make any difference because those two numbers are different. Therefore, these two functions are not equivalent. And they want you to do the math because they're going to want you to type in all of this mathematics that we just did. So you'll have to type that into Course Compass here. Type in the function that you get. Remember, it's still going to have an x in it. Then you'll type in the second part of it, and then you'll answer the questions of is it equivalent or not. So don't get carried away with it. It's simply a matter of plugging in the function value, distributing and combining like terms, and then comparing the two. Now, if you did get exactly the same thing both times, say both times we did indeed get 15x minus 14, then they would be equivalent. All right? So that wraps up Chapter 2. So get those done, and make sure you get that test taken before the end of the day on the 8th. Thanks.